Afternoon. It's barely 12 in the afternoon. Taking my cup, so just setting it down for a minute. I wanted to make a video about the game, obviously Underworld Empire, right now. But yeah, stepping out for a minute. And reason why is because there's always people from church that are trying to approach me and have a conversation about God and stuff like that, which I enjoy talking about that topic. But this is more like this is a 24/7, 7 days a week, 365, commitment. It's not just like, I'm gonna start a conversation. This is how I view it. Like, you approach people and want to talk about, the Bible, stuff like that, and your beliefs and what makes you feel good and what you're worried about. But hold on just a second. The way I view it is, it doesn't stop and it doesn't start with a conversation. So yeah, it's something that you have to kind of live with, So this is the book that I read. This is a lot of information here. So I'm gonna put my shirt on and read literally from page 1. I'm just gonna read a few sentences. I'm a bit nervous, and plus I don't have a lot of storage capacity on my phone right now. So I'm gonna try to get to it as quickly as possible, and as well as going to the game and log in, and because it's not two separate issues for me. It's right now it's all around me. You know what I mean? It's today, and it's August 5th, 4th, I forget which one. I'll identify the day once I look at my phone. But yeah, let me try to put this shirt on. Set my coffee down again. And I have 2 shirts out just because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to wear for this, but I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the bluish shirt. So I'm gonna set this down and put on the freaking shirt. Don't let them lie to you and tell you that you have to go to church and they have to follow all the rules, and it's not like that. It shouldn't be that way. You can read your book whenever. You can try to find inspiration whenever. It's they don't know how you feel. They don't know what you're going through. So why let them dictate how you should pray, when you should pray, when you should gather? I don't let them do that, So let's jump to page 1. The preface. Genesis, right? First book from the Holy Bible. So here we go. And I'll let you look at the word, so you won't say that I'm putting. So we're just gonna read this part right here, just the beginning, just that part. All right. The beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Bam. There we go. We found time for it. So it's a lot to try to wrap your mind around and try to understand, and I'm not trying to rush it too much. So I'll look over it and I'll try to like identify why it's important to me, because it says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. So when I said it's all around me, it's His creation. Like, it's His creation. Everything that we see, everything that we consume, everything that we think about and have a judgment or opinion about, it was His creation. Now the earth was formless and empty. That's where, you try to wrap your mind around what it means, and I yet to understand. I don't understand that part when it says now. What now? Like what? Like what do they mean by now? Like, I know they don't mean present, my present. So the earth was formless and empty. You could just like maybe picture a planet, which was Earth at the time, and it just being covered in water, and how the how we have different continents and all those. We identified that sort of land or geography as continents. So I guess when they were talking about is when all the continents were just one solid piece, and eventually over time they started breaking off, and they have the form, the shape of what we think of now. The Middle East, Europe, Asia, Latin America, Canada, North Pole, South Pole. It wasn't shaped like that. I know that like much so far, that it wasn't a long time ago. It was not. It didn't look that way. It just took form eventually over time with the. I think they're called plate tectonics. I'm not too sure. I'm not that knowledgeable on the geography of how the world was shaped. But so it says darkness was over the surface of the deep. I can picture that because like at night, how it gets like really dim in the light. The lights are really dim, like the sun, we're not facing it, so it's hard for us to like see the light. So, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. It's hard to describe what the Spirit of God would be. I mean, I know obviously what H2O or water, in the oceans look like. I have a detailed description. Like, I can understand that part of it, but the Spirit of God was hovering over it. It could be like in the form of wind, or like a storm, a lot of clouds is how I picture that. Because it's like almost intimidating. Like you're almost fearful when you think about a cloud formation that you hear thunder from, and you're obviously like wondering why is electricity and water mixing and making that thunder sound, and it obviously can transfer directly to the land, because lightning does strike. So yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it like that for now, and then I'll break it down, because just that alone it's a lot to take in. But that's how it starts. It literally starts like that. It doesn't start with you taking all these chapters all at once and trying to understand it. You can, just find the time for it, or dedicate yourself to it. I'm obviously still a student, so my journey doesn't end up becoming a priest. To be honest, it doesn't. Not right now is what I'm not thinking about that. Not right now. I don't think that's where my journey ends up right now. who knows, God works in mysterious ways, and he has something to say about everything in our lives. He created everything. So what can you tell him that you don't like, or that you're against? And then he's gonna probably, I'm not, it's hard to picture that conversation too, because I can't get in his mind. Like, I can try to pretend that I understand, what God would tell us if we complain to him, like about specific things. But so here's the game now. I'm gonna log in, and I'm gonna start playing for a bit.